Good afternoon. It is the launch of Miracle Match. How many years have we been doing Miracle Match? Since the first year. We did Miracle Match, and Miracle Match is so important to us because it gets so much done for the cats, and it's really great for you because your donations are doubled. So now through April 30th, donations are doubled, and the reason Miracle Match is even more important this year than ever is we're celebrating our 25 years of saving lives. Some of you have been there since the beginning. Some of you are new supporters of ours, but it has been a transition over 25 years. I can tell you that. And we really want to invite you to be part of Miracle Match this year. For the next couple of weeks, we're going to be taking you through different things that your gift helps us do. And not only does that mean your gift goes twice as far for the cats, and everything counts. If you renew your sponsorship, it counts for Miracle Match. Your monthly Pride gift counts for Miracle Match. If you can cover fees, that helps when you donate. So now is a great time to give, and it's really the lion's share of our fundraising. Give to the Max Day and Miracle Match are our biggest fundraisers of the year to cover much needed items in general operating. So stay tuned for that. But as you can see, as we're celebrating 25 years of saving lives, I can always start with the first, which is Cleo, the African serval, and Samson, the caracal. And then my first tiger that we rescued together was Mimi. You know, there's so many stories. And so my next issue of Uproar, I'm going to share some of those stories that you haven't heard too deeply. But today, kind of celebrating 25 years of saving lives, it's really been quite a long time that it's been to the capacity issue we're having now. Not only us, but other sanctuaries, we're all building to help more animals. But it's been so many years since me and the staff have had to build together to accommodate the rescues we have. And the last time I can remember that is the Catskill Game Farm. So I want to talk a little bit about that as well. And Shazam, the black leopard, is the only cat we have left from the Catskill Game Farm. The rest have passed away of old age. But when we were just moving to our site here in Sandstone, we didn't have all the buildings done. We didn't have many of the buildings we have now. I was living in a teeny single wide trailer. It was just crazy, and we had mostly all volunteers, very, very few staff. And we received a call from a group called Wildlife Watch. They're an animal welfare group out on the East Coast. And they told us that the Catskill Game Farm, which was a zoo at a time, was closing down. And they were closing down due to finances, and there was over 1,000 animals at their zoo. And it got to the point that they were going to be auctioning off their animals to the highest bidder. Some people bought their white rhinos, and I believe they went out of Africa. Some people bought for canned hunts. Some people bought for exhibits. And we were asked, could we accommodate all the cats on the property? And our biggest concern was a lot of these animal people that wanted to see the animals go to good homes were actually going to the auction and paying the zoo and the auctioneers for the animals, then placing them at rescue facilities for lifetime care. And so they were giving the bad guys the money and the good guys no support. And so we talked to Wildlife Watch and said we would be happy to give those cats a permanent home, but you have to be able to get them relinquished without money. And that, yes, if you want to cover transport costs so that the zoo isn't out of pocket, that's fine, but we will not take cats that you paid for because we have a long time to pay for them. So they actually helped us raise about $25,000 for habitats. And originally we were going to be getting Aslan and his pride, Aslan, Asha, and Shanti Diva, 3 lions. We saw that they had a small holding yard at Catskill Game Farm Zoo, and in the end, when they were tearing down enclosures, they actually were living in horse stalls for some while. Then we also agreed to take in a black leopard, Shazam, who's still with us today. And originally it was 2 cougars. It was Maddie and Matt, or excuse me, it was Mia and Max. And then during the process, one of the caregivers there had a private pet cougar that was on site, and she had escaped an enclosure several times. So they asked if we could take her, and we were told she was the daughter of the other two. So we ended up taking 3 cougars instead of 2. But back then, we didn't have fence companies. We were doing most of this ourselves. And so we were, what now is Beauty's enclosure, you can only imagine it, Beauty the Lynx is living there now, was the habitat we were building for Aslan and their pride. And it was in the middle of winter. I remember the transport truck came, and they were kind of like the airline crates that you saw with Ukrainian cats, stacked up in this van. It's probably a truck, I'd say more of a semi. But there was no way he watered them. He took 4 days to get here. The cats were definitely really willing to get out of their habitats. And so we had to use a skid steer to get the crates down. But why we knew they were coming, the night before we had cars parked alongside the habitat we were building with the floodlights on, still putting up the hot wire, still putting on the lockouts, putting on finishing touches just up against the wire for these cats to come. And that was for the 3 lions. We also had to build temporary habitats for Shazam and the 3 cougars. Something we didn't want to do, but we would do, and then we were going to fundraise later and build through the winter and spring, and that's exactly what we did. And I remember when taking Asha the lion out on the skid steer with the crate on, and she was roaring and not happy, and even the skid steer was moving. And we put them up against the lockouts and opened the door and thinking she would run right out. Well, she didn't right away. It took a while. But true to form, Shanti Diva went out, then Aslan, then she did. And I remember the first pictures, they ran all the way to the back of that. It's a 6,000 square foot habitat, so definitely not enough for 3 lions today. But back in the day, it was much bigger than that they had lived in at the Catskill Game Farm. And they started kind of pacing in the back. All of them had rubbed their faces raw from those crate moves. But then once we got them, people started reaching out to us, caregivers, people that had attended the zoo for a long time, had said it was a good zoo at one time and then had started getting run down. And I remember even Shazam's caretaker reached out and said that she actually had 75 staples put in her head from Shazam. And she said it was not his fault, it was hers. And that when they were young, Shazam lived with his sister in the exhibit there at the zoo. And a log had come attached, some type of enrichment log, and had crushed her skull. And since that happened, Shazam was never the social cat he had used to be. And then she went into a room with him where he was up on a platform. And I don't remember the exact details around what happened, but he did obviously get a good hold of her and sent her in for stitches and staples. And that's not why he was surrendered. He was surrendered because the zoo closed. But as a no-contact facility here, we always treated Shazam with the utmost respect. It took him a while to warm up. He's still a cat that, even at 22 years old, has chosen his humans, and he always has 1 to 2 he really is bonded with at a time. And he's got Elise and another caretaker he really loves here. He's even gotten better with me. But I remember them being in their temporaries, and I remember the snow, and I remember the people that were here helping them. And we're kind of back to it today. I mean, when the Asian leopard cats and all of the Michigan cats came and the Minnesota rescue, it's all about, we have to build for them. It's not putting them in empty habitats like we did for a while. So like when we took the cheetahs in, Kitu and Lavani, we had an open space for quite a while, and that's why we accepted them. Those days are gone. Those days we're back to, there is a lot of cats that need homes, and us and other sanctuaries are building to accommodate those. So it's really interesting to look back at the time with them. And I remember as the pride, Aslan was a lot like Leo the lion. I would say Leo and Wally mixed together. He was very docile to the girls, and then kind of really told us off. Asha was the big tomboy of the lions, and she would always try and, you know, bark at us at the fence and everything else. And then Shanti, who was the social to humans, was definitely the dominant of all three of those Pride members. And so she was calming presence, but what she said goes, and they were ever amazing. And then we knew that two of the three cougars lived together, and we knew one was younger. But once they were in those airline crates and they came, we couldn't see who was who and needed to know who to release with who. And so I reached out to a curator at the zoo, and he said, well, the cougar that almost looks like she's dead, she's the older one. And I'm like, what do you mean almost looks like she's dead? And he's like, she's really skinny, she's gray, you know, a lot of gray hair. And again, we couldn't see them except through teeny holes in the airline crates. And so we ended up picking the right cats, and really with a proper diet and more space, Mia didn't look very old. She, you know, definitely was grayer where Maddie had a red coat, but we were able to merge Maddie, the daughter, back in with her family once they were spayed and neutered. And true to form, we and you helped us create a miracle match with Mia, Max, and Maddie. And that's what we do here. Miracle match means much more than double your donations. Miracle match means 25 years of creating miracle matches, not only for cats to have companionship, but matches for you and your sponsor cats, matches for our supporters finding the sanctuary and us finding you. So these memories, I just really appreciate. When I first thought of 25 years, I thought, wow, I'm getting old. So much has happened. I also find it myself as saying, oh, back in the day when this was or that was, or it was simpler. But I was even looking at our annual report from 10 years ago. And we had 126 cats back then. We're closer to 150, so we have more. But it's just that things have gotten more complicated, but in the right way. So yes, we had staff and we had cats back then, but the amount of time caretakers, the vet team, and everybody else spends individualizing the care and the needs and responding to the needs of the cats now is way more time intensive. And that's why we have a lot more staff, because that is our mission. That is our mission, is making those miracles happen and making it happen for every single cat, from Shazam, who really needed kind of one caretaker at a time to bond with, to, you know, to living next to his tigers that he loves so much. He doesn't want other leopards. He's always had a jaguar as a neighbor. He's had Nikita the white tiger. He has Tarek and Polina, and stay tuned this summer. He'll probably get another neighbor, is what we're working on. And, you know, to knowing that Aslan in his old age had hepatitis of the liver, and we had to do specialized medical care and bring him to the University of Minnesota. And to Shanti, who, much like baby Jenga, gave us a lot of years notice that, you know, her reign at the sanctuary was going to be over. But that gentle spirit of doing the walks with her caregivers every day, every morning, every night, that's what makes TWS special. And then all of you guys that support us so that we can do that individualized care and look at each cat not only as just an individual cat, but to get to know the intricacies of their personalities, of what they like to eat, of what they need to eat based on their diet, of hearing that, you know, today I heard one of the caretakers say that, well, Leo needs his nails trimmed. I mean, watching Leo the lion and knowing that he has a regimen since he's older and 18 doesn't wear down his nails just like Chipino did, and that we need to do that for him. Just staying on top of all of those little things is what makes TWS so special and what makes Miracle Match so special. So I'm really looking forward to the next 2 months of celebrating what 25 years of saving lives have been at the sanctuary with all of you, remembering some of the good memories, knowing there's been a lot of hard memories over the years as well, knowing there's a lot of things I would have changed if I knew what the next step was going to be, but also being so thankful that we're here 25 years. And then also, what does the next 25 years look like? It's going to be a lot different in 25 years. I might still be doing live posts, but I'm not. But I'm going to be a lot different in age. I won't be walking around the sanctuary so much. I'll be taking the golf cart. But we have a next generation of amazing people here at the sanctuary, amazing donors out there. We're trying to build that audience for all of us and what the future of TWS looks like, because we are committed to be here to the last cat that needs to be rescued, to the last cat passes away. This is their safe haven, and this is why sustainability is so important. And so if you're just joining us, we're just talking about that it is Miracle Match, 25 years of saving lives. I think it's 29 when I started this venture, and there's been so much help along the way, and I'm forever grateful. And the one thing I just really want to remind everybody is TWS is not me. Yes, we're celebrating 25 years, and I might have had the original vision, but that vision would have not to come fruition without so many amazing supporters, donors, board members, volunteers, interns, staff members, family members, friends along the way. And so this is really a celebration for all of us, not just those that were here on day one. But I can't wait to keep sharing with you the story of when we rescued Mimi, some stories of Levi, Murray, the bobcat. Remember Burton? I mean, when I was going through what stories I wanted to share, it was hard because I want to share every single one. But I do share some of those stories in upcoming Uproar that you'll be at the end of April. And then it's also our yearbook issue. So if you haven't, another reason to give during Miracle Match, not only are your donations doubled up to $75,000, but if you give $25 or more, you get on that mailing list for Uproar Magazine, and you'll get the yearbook issue. So thank you guys for being part of this wonderful, wonderful journey we have done for the cats, and we really look forward to what the future continues to hold for the amazing work we can do together to really put an end to the captive wildlife crisis.